See stars? Forget your best friend's name for a second? Don't worry, you're not alone. We've all been there, and it's important to know what to do when you think you might have bonked your noggin. Welcome to the Dizzy Diaries. Today, we're diving into the signs you might have gotten yourself a concussion. And trust me, the symptoms can be sneakier than that text your ex sends at 2 a.m. We're talking about when it's time to swap Netflix for the doctor's office and get yourself checked out. Concussions can happen to anyone. Whether you're an athlete going for a slam dunk, a klutz like me who walks into walls, or just someone who took a tumble. So, whether you're a weekend warrior, a professional couch potato, or somewhere in between, stay tuned because we're about to break it down, what's normal, what's not, and when you should definitely hit that subscribe button and go get checked out. Let's jump right into it. First up, let's talk about headaches. Now, I'm not talking about the kind you get after a long day of staring at a screen. Although that's a sign to take a break, people. I'm talking about the kind that feels like your brain is hosting a rock concert without your permission. If your head is pounding, throbbing, or just generally making its presence known after you hit it, that's your brain saying, hey, we need to talk. And trust me, you don't want to ignore your brain when it's sending out SOS signals like that. Headaches are like the VIP guests of concussion symptoms. They show up to almost every party. But don't worry, not all headaches are created equal. We'll get into what kind of headache is a red flag and when it's time to call in the medical professionals. Next up on our concussion hit list is dizziness, a common yet often misunderstood symptom that can really throw you for a loop. And balance problems. Ever stand up too fast and feel like the room is doing a little spin? That sudden rush of dizziness can be startling, but it's usually harmless. Now imagine that feeling on steroids after hitting your head. That's your brain saying, whoa, hold up, I need to recalibrate. It's like your internal GPS has gone haywire, and you're struggling to find your footing. Dizziness after a head injury can make you feel like you're on a roller coaster that you didn't sign up for. The world around you seems to tilt and sway, making even simple tasks feel like a challenge. It's like your inner ear, the balance center of your body, took a little detour and forgot how to do its job. The inner ear plays a crucial role in maintaining balance, and when it's disrupted, the effects can be disorienting. We've all experienced that feeling of being a little off balance. Maybe you tripped over your own feet or stumbled walking up the stairs. It's a common occurrence, but when it happens frequently, it's a sign that something might be wrong. But when it comes to head injuries, dizziness and balance problems are nothing to scoff at. They can be persistent and interfere with your daily life, making it difficult to perform routine activities. If you're feeling unsteady on your feet like you're walking on a waterbed, or if the room is doing the tango without you, that's a sign that your brain needs a timeout. It's important to listen to your body and recognize these signals. And here's the thing, even if you don't completely lose your balance, you might notice that your coordination is a little off. You might find yourself missing steps or fumbling with objects more than usual. Maybe you're bumping into things more often, or you just feel generally clumsy. These small mishaps can add up and become a source of frustration. These subtle signs can be easy to brush off, but they're actually your brain's way of saying, hey, something's not quite right here. It's crucial to pay attention to these symptoms and seek medical advice if they persist. So, pay attention to those wobbly moments. They might be your body's way of telling you to slow down and take care of yourself. Remember, your health is your most valuable asset. Alright, picture this. You're minding your own business, maybe grabbing a snack, enjoying a peaceful moment in your day. You might be reaching for that delicious burrito you've been craving all day, or perhaps just a simple bag of chips. And suddenly, out of nowhere, you're hit with a wave of nausea. It's like a storm brewing in your stomach, catching you completely off guard. Not the I ate too much kind, where you feel like you've overindulged at a buffet, but the my stomach is doing somersaults, and not the fun kind. It's a deep, unsettling feeling that makes you want to curl up and wish it away. If this happens after you've bonked your head, it's time to pay attention. This isn't just a random occurrence, it's your body trying to tell you something important. See, your brain is like the control center for your whole body, orchestrating everything from your heartbeat to your digestion. And that includes your stomach. It's all interconnected in ways we often don't realize. When you hit your head, it can disrupt the signals between your brain and your digestive system. This disruption can cause a cascade of symptoms that might seem unrelated at first, like a miscommunication in the body's group chat where messages get jumbled and misunderstood. It can lead to feelings of nausea and even vomiting. Your body's way of saying, hey, something's not right here. Now I know what you're thinking. Dr. Mike, I get nauseous sometimes, especially after a questionable street taco. We've all been there, right? But here's the thing. If the nausea is persistent, severe, and doesn't go away after a while, or accompanied by other symptoms like a headache or dizziness, it's a red flag. These additional symptoms can indicate that something more serious is going on, and it's not just about what you ate. It's not something to ignore. Your body is trying to communicate with you, and it's crucial to listen. Remember, your body has a funny way of telling you when something's wrong. It might not always be clear, but those signals are there for a reason, and sometimes it speaks in the language of vomit. So listen up, because ignoring these signs can lead to bigger problems down the road. And let's move on to the next sign your brain might be sending an SOS. Stay tuned, because understanding these signals can make all the difference in your health. Feel like you're walking through a mental fog, like you just can't seem to think straight. We've all been there. It's that frustrating sensation where your thoughts feel sluggish and your mind seems to be moving in slow motion. You might struggle to find the right words or feel like you're forgetting something important. Maybe you pulled an all-nighter studying, or you're just having one of those days. The kind where no amount of coffee seems to help, and you find yourself staring blankly at your work, unable to focus. It's a common experience, especially in our fast-paced, always-on world. But when this feeling of mental fuzziness follows a head injury, it's not just a case of the Mondays. It's a sign that something more serious might be going on. Head injuries can disrupt the brain's normal functions, leading to a range of cognitive issues. It could be your brain sending a signal that it needs time to heal and recover. Ignoring these signs can lead to more severe problems down the line, so it's crucial to pay attention to what your body is telling you. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a complex computer, and a head injury can disrupt its normal processing power. Just like a computer that crashes after a power surge, your brain needs time to reboot and restore its functions. This can manifest as difficulty concentrating, feeling disoriented, or having trouble remembering things. You might find it hard to follow conversations or keep track of tasks, making everyday activities feel like a challenge. You might find yourself asking questions like, "Wait, where did I put my keys?" Or retracing your steps multiple times only to realize they were in your hand all along. Or, "What am I doing in this room again?" These moments of forgetfulness can be frustrating and even a little scary, especially if they happen frequently. And no, it's not early onset amnesia. It's a temporary state that can improve with proper care and attention. Laughing it off might help in the short term, but it's important to address the underlying issue. It's your brain trying to recover from an unexpected jolt. Just like any other part of your body, your brain needs rest and care to heal properly. Now, a little brain fog after a bonk on the head isn't always a cause for panic. Sometimes all it takes is a bit of rest and relaxation to feel like yourself again. Taking it easy and giving your brain a break can do wonders, but if it persists, worsens, or interferes with your daily life, it's time to seek medical attention. A healthcare professional can help determine the cause and provide the necessary treatment to get you back on track. Let's dive a little deeper into what that looks like. Understanding the signs and symptoms can help you take the right steps towards recovery and ensure your brain gets the care it needs. Have you ever walked into a room that's just too bright, or had to deal with a sound so grating it makes you cringe? We've all been there. But for someone who's experienced a head injury, these everyday sensations can be amplified to an uncomfortable, even painful level. It's like your senses have suddenly gone into overdrive. Sunlight might feel like a laser beam, and the hum of the refrigerator might sound like a jackhammer. This heightened sensitivity to light and sound is a common symptom of a concussion, and another way your brain tells you it needs a timeout. So why does this happen? Well, a head injury can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters in your brain, those chemical messengers that help regulate your sensory input. As a result, your brain can become overwhelmed by sensory information, making even normal levels of light and sound feel unbearable. While it's normal to experience some sensitivity after a head injury, let's talk about when it's time to be concerned. So you bumped your head and now you're feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster? Don't worry, it's not just you. Mood swings are a common symptom of concussions, and they can manifest in a bunch of ways. One minute you're laughing at a silly meme, the next, you're ready to fight a trash can for being in your way. Sound familiar? That's your brain chemistry doing the tango after a little shakeup. It's like someone hit the shuffle button on your emotions, and now you're stuck with whatever comes on next. The good news is that these mood swings are usually temporary. Your brain is incredibly resilient and wants to get back to its normal, balanced self. But in the meantime, It's important to be aware of these changes and to be kind to yourself. Remember, it's not your fault you're feeling this way. It's just your brain trying to heal and rewire itself after a bump in the road. So take a deep breath, practice some self-care, and know that this too shall pass. After a bonk on the head, your sleep patterns might decide to take an unexpected vacation. You might find yourself suddenly needing a nap every 5 minutes, or your sleep schedule might flip-flop, making you feel like you're living in a different time zone. Now, you might think, hey, I love sleep, what's the problem? Well, too much sleep can be just as disruptive as too little. It's all about balance, and when your brain's trying to heal, that balance can get thrown out of whack. Excessive sleepiness after a head injury can be a sign that your brain needs more rest to recover. Think of it like your brain hitting the pause button so it can focus on repairing those neural pathways. On the other hand, insomnia can be your brain's way of saying, hold up, something's not right. Either way, if your sleep schedule looks more like a random number generator than a regular routine after a head injury, don't ignore it. Your brain is trying to tell you something, and it's important to listen. Ever walk into a room and forget why you went in there? We've all been there. But if it starts happening more often after a head injury, especially if it's accompanied by difficulty concentrating, it's time to pay attention. Memory and concentration problems are like those annoying party guests that just won't leave after a concussion. You're trying to focus on a task, but your brain feels like it's stuck in a thick fog. You might struggle to remember recent conversations, misplace your keys, more often than usual, or find it hard to follow a movie plot. These are all signs that your brain is still recovering and needs a little extra TLC. Remember, your brain is like a muscle. When it gets injured, it needs time and rest to heal properly. Pushing yourself too hard too soon can actually prolong the recovery process. Alright folks, let's talk about blacking out. If you hit your head and even for a split second everything went dark, that's not a power nap, that's your brain hitting the off switch, and it's a big deal. Now, I'm not talking about those times you stub your toe so hard you see stars. I'm talking about a complete loss of consciousness, even if it was just for a few seconds. This is a major red flag that you need to get checked out by a medical professional, ASAP. Losing consciousness means your brain experienced a significant jolt, and it needs a proper assessment. Remember, your brain is like the control center for your entire body. Don't mess around with head injuries. So, if you or someone you know experiences any loss of consciousness after a head injury, don't hesitate. Head straight to the ER. Section 2. Better safe than sorry. Feeling a little green around the gills after a head bonk? It happens. Sometimes that impact can mess with your stomach, making you feel nauseous or even throw up. One episode of vomiting? Not ideal, but usually not a major cause for concern. It could just be your body's natural reaction to the trauma. However, if you find yourself running to the bathroom more than once, that's a whole different story. Repeated vomiting, especially if it's forceful or projectile, is a big red flag that something more serious might be going on. Section 2. More than that, not so much. Alright, let's talk about your brain's ability to use language. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Your brain coordinates a ton of muscles just to form words. But after a bonk on the head, you might feel like you're suddenly speaking a different language, one that even Google Translate can't decipher. If your words are coming out sounding more like a drunk Shakespearean actor than your usual eloquent self, don't just brush it off. I know, you might be tempted to just laugh it off and say you need another cup of coffee. But trust me, slurred speech after hitting your head, that's your brain trying to send an SOS. We've talked about a lot of different symptoms so far, from headaches to dizziness to, well, sounding like you invented a new language. And while some of these symptoms might seem like minor annoyances, it's important to remember that your brain isn't messing around here. If you've experienced a head injury and your symptoms are getting worse, that's a huge red flag. It's like your brain is trying to wave its hands and shout, "Hey, something's not right here." Don't ignore those warning signs. Imagine you're playing a video game, and your health bar keeps dropping. You wouldn't just keep playing like nothing's wrong, would you? You'd pause, reassess the situation, and maybe even ask for help. Well, your brain works the same way. Worsening symptoms are a sign that something needs attention. It's your body's way of telling you to hit the pause button and seek medical attention. So there you have it, guys. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the subtle signs of a concussion to the more serious symptoms that require immediate medical attention. Remember, your brain is your most valuable asset, and it's up to you to protect it. If you think you've bonked your brain, don't play Dr. Google. It's way less helpful than your actual doctor. And if your symptoms are giving you the side eye, it's better to be safe than sorry. Don't try to diagnose yourself. And don't downplay your symptoms. Your brain will thank you for it. Hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and laughs about living with, or recovering from, life's dizzy moments. Share your own bonked my brain stories in the comments, and don't forget to take care of that noggin of yours.